All right, so here we misused the we misused JDBC, right, directly where we wanted it, where we created the connection right away. Even though it's a better use, right? We are using the index, the Java naming convention, Java naming and directory interface. But we should never directly access this, right? Instead, what we should do instead, right? Let's implement another JavaScript here, JSP, sorry, and we'll see. We'll create a new JSP and says simple DAO example. All right. So instead, what we should do, or it's a little better anyway, is that we can first get a hold of the data access object. So this would be the website DAO, new website DAO. And a better implementation would be that this would be a singleton, right, where we ask the website DAO to give me a single instance of itself, right, and it would be the same instance for everybody, as opposed to reinstantiating it every time, right. That would allow us to cache, right, the connection and some of these resources right on the singleton, but we'll do that a little later. Anyway, so here we need the website DAO, which is one of our own classes, which we can import here. We can say page import, and I think we called it, I don't remember. What's the package? Oh, there it is, right there. And let's import it right here, .star. That means it's going to load all the DAOs. And now that we have the DAO, we can ask for an array list of the websites from the WDAO, right? So .find all websites. And we're going to have to import also the array list, which is under java.util. And the website is under, I think, lecture.jdbc.model, maybe? There we go. Okay. Now that we have a list, we can just iterate this over this, right? So we say for int I, and we can get the count. So the int count websites.size, and this would be I equals 0, I less than count, I plus plus. And here we can, again, we can just iterate and just display these, UL, and close it here. And this would give me, let's go into, let's go fetch the website. Website is equal to websites.get the count, right, the index. Now that we have the website, we can go back to HTML, render the line item, render the website.getName, right, and then close the line item, and then go back to Java, right? Okay, so we're kind of like embedding Java and HTML. They're interlaced and mingling. And if we run this, so this is h1 simple DAO example, simple JSP plus DAO example. So if we run this on the server, it restarts. Yes, maybe. No. Is it this one? Oh, there we go. Simple JSP plus DAO examples of just Facebook and Twitter. Does that make sense? Yes. I'm sorry?
class definition of
Here?
yeah. So do we create the connection as it's here?
No, this is still using the old way. Yeah, this is still using the old way, right?
So you, like, even here,
This it would need to be
context very well.
right, exactly. This would have to be upgraded to use that. Yep, exactly. But even here, that it's notice the implementation, how different it is, right? Where here we are intimately aware of the schema, right, of the underlying implementation of this schema in the database, right? This one is a much higher level of abstraction, right? We're no longer dependent on the schema, right? Instead, we have this abstraction layer, right, that hides any of those details from us. Instead, we have a completely object-oriented view onto the data model, right? And that's what we want, right? We want to abstract this so that it becomes agnostic to the actual implementation. If tomorrow we want to change it from a relational database, we want to change it to a NoSQL implementation, that's fine, right? There's no changes from the client. The client is not affected by your choice of storage. So those concerns are decoupled, right? And that's what we strive for, making applications that can change over time without having to just throw everything and have to start all over. Okay. All right. So let's do one more example. Even this is a bad practice, right? Since typically applications are broken into several tiers, right? Where you have the view tier, right, handling only the rendering of the data, and you have the model tier that handles all the manipulation of the data. So we have that. We have the data tier handling all those manipulations. But here, this would be the view tier, right? The responsibility is just to display data, right? Just give me the data and I'll iterate over it, right? This is a little bit too close to the model, right? Of being able to access the data right away, right? Instead, we need a somewhere in between a layer called the control layer that would be responsible for actually talking to the data, going to fetch the data, and then providing that data for display on the front end. Okay, so here a better implementation would be to have in between a control layer. So let's see how we would go about implementing a control layer. Right? Let's do that next.